Hello everybody, Wayward Pony here, talking into my new Audio-Technica microphone. I figured I'd do one of these. This is going to be kind of a getting to know you video during the long grind. I'll probably only do one of these, might do another, don't know, depends on how it does. So, I am Wayward Pony. My real name is Peter. I'm in my 30s. I am employed, like most responsible 30-year-olds. And I'm a retro gamer, as well as a brony. Who'd have thunk it, right? Well, I guess I'll start with the reasons why I'm doing this. I pluralize reasons because there's more than one. First and foremost, I wanted to work on my voice acting, as well as my shyness in front of a microphone, and I think already it's improving. I think earlier my stuff, the story of the blank stuff, I think I was a little more relaxed with that because that was just kind of a one-shot thing. But this is going to be a long haul, and I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if I'm going to complete this game or not, but I'm still going to have fun while I'm playing it. I've played up to the world of balance, which is a lot further than I thought I would. I've beaten Final Fantasy VI. I love the Final Fantasy series. All the way back to Final Fantasy I back in the 80s. Yeah, I've been playing it that long, though. At that point, I was running from every battle and thinking I was fighting, to give you an idea of how young I was. Let me see. I have some theater experience from high school, a little bit college, but not too much. I have some college under my belt. Let me see. I'm going to try to keep this focused on, let me see. Okay, I'll cover Brony Works first, I guess. I had a couple things I wanted to cover. But initially, I was actually not into My Little Pony at all. I watched the series premiere on the Hub back on the East Coast. I've lived all over the U.S., by the way. And I kind of wrote it off. I thought it was kind of silly. I thought the animation was kind of flat-looking. But what happened was I was a furry. And in the furry fandom, there were other furries writing it off, and some furries enjoying it. And what attracts me to things like My Little Pony is what people do with the ideas that are presented in the series. I mean, it's really kind of unique to the person doing it, because you can have the same idea again and again being done over and over again, but every person's take on it's a little different, and I think that's really exciting. So I've covered two reasons so far. Third reason is I always wanted to do a Let's Play of a game for probably past 10, 12 years since YouTube first premiered, and I mean, Angry Video Game Nerd. I love the Angry Video Game Nerd, but I never had the technology for it. It's only recent that I have a 7-year-old laptop with Bandicam on it and a DVD player / recorder, which doesn't really work, but for my Let's Plays of other games, which you can't emulate. I don't like emulation at all. I mean, it's a necessary evil because there's certain things you just can't play on traditional hardware. I think traditional hardware is really the way places at, though eventually that's going to wear out, and we're going to have some way of preserving it. I occasionally get a little bit concerned over the stances that various companies take on their intellectual property. I mean, I'm a Flim Flam Philosophy, Now He's Gone Somewhere fan, and when his stuff went down and Friendship is Witchcraft went down and all this other stuff went down, reviews even, I got pretty sad. I could understand why Hasbro was doing it, and I could really understand them going after the videos uploads, the 22-minute long episode uploads on YouTube. But YouTube is kind of where I discovered the series to begin with. I mean, I got very sick when I moved out to the Midwest, and I was trying new things, and I wanted to give My Little Pony another chance. I was thinking of doing it back on the East Coast when I first played Story of the Blanks, but I never got around to it. I was just too busy with too many things going on, and, well, I had some time. Quite a bit of time, actually. And I watched the first season through YouTube, and I decided I liked it. I felt a certain amount of energy watching the whole thing, episode 1 to season 1 finale, which I hadn't felt in a while. I mean, sometimes other children's shows touch on this a little bit, but there's the theme of self-actualization, which I really like, where you're kind of trying to be the best that you can be at what your natural talent would be. And, the whole thing about cutie marks basically hit the nail on the head there, and I really like it. I particularly like the CMC. I think they're plucky and full of a lot of energy, and I like that episode with Scootaloo where they touch a little bit on her disability, and I'm really happy that they went in the direction they did with her disability, not making her disabled in a way that people could relate to. I mean, there are opportunities people don't get because, say, you're missing a finger, you can't type properly. Well, Scootaloo can't fly, and they don't make an obvious disability out of it. I mean, it's not something that people have, no one can fly. But they have her basically making lemonade with the lemons that life has given her. I mean, instead of flying, she's kind of sputtering around using her wings as a propeller, and I think that's really awesome. It basically says, even though you can't do what naturally you might be able to if you are disabled, there's a possibility you can do something else that's kind of cool, and I like that. I mean, it's non-defeatist, but it's still accepting of reality. So I started out on this channel, YouTube particularly, even though I'm also uploading these to VidMe, doing reviews. And one of the reasons I stopped doing that was because I didn't really quite understand Hasbro's position on using footage from the series. And I wanted to do things with the reviews which I was uncomfortable doing, such as incorporating some of the music. And I lost interest. I mean, the stills from the episodes and the jokes that I make are fun, but it's incredibly time-consuming to do, and I'd rather do other things, frankly. I have a myriad of hobbies, things I'm more interested in than sitting down and reviewing something that someone else has reviewed already. I mean, yeah, it's my unique personal take, but there's a lot of analysis people out there. It's kind of grown into its own thing, which it's cool. I mean, that's their thing. I just rather do other things. I mean, one of my primary interests within the My Little Pony fandom is fan fiction. I absolutely love writing fan fiction. I'd rather focus on that and have a little something going on the side like this game. I particularly like fan fiction because it's really kind of deceiving. I mean, you have this bright little happy world where nothing can go wrong, and you insert an idea or two that doesn't belong, and it just kind of falls apart, or it kind of becomes something else, or it kind of adapts to it. It's kind of fun to see what happens and bounce the characters' energy off each other. I really enjoy doing that. I haven't really done a whole lot in fan fiction-wise because I'm a little burnt out on it, I'm going to be honest. I got maybe 500,000 words on film fiction, and it's just like, just a little rest. I was really worried about various things like SOPA and the Trans-Pacific Partnership and Transatlantic Investment Dispute, blah, blah, blah. And all that stuff, really didn't amount to anything. I mean, with a new person in the White House, which is definitely going to date this video, but Trump is now in the White House, he has his positions on intellectual property, but he also has positions on trade, which destroyed the TPP, which didn't surprise me. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen concerning this, and I'm not going to worry about it, because you worry about things like this, you're going to end up getting withered. This is something I'm doing for fun. I'm never going to have money enter into it. I think once money enters into it, I have the type of personality where I could get too invested in it for the wrong reasons, and it would stop being fun. I think my videos would stop having the energy they do, where it's kind of hacked together, and I like that about them, frankly. Yeah. In closing, I'm going to talk a little bit about stuff I was kind of on the fence about bringing up, but I might as well. I didn't do too well in school. I am learning disabled. I have a series of neurological issues with me, some of which were discovered in my late 20s, which kind of sucks. Others which have been known basically all of my life. I can't help stuttering and occasionally puttering. I mean, that part of that's nerves, and that's got to be... It's going to be how it is, but also, I mean, I'm learning disabled. I don't read very well, and that's another reason I'm doing this, to improve my reading and improve my presence while doing so, because, I mean, you invest too much into trying to figure out what you're looking at, you're not paying attention to your environment, and I want to make it a little easier for me to multitask like that. The type of job I work, by the way, would bore most people. It's a very repetitive job, but I love it. I was recently diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, which, that's a controversial disease or disorder, but I could really care less. I mean, it's just a condition, and it doesn't affect me. There's a lot of negative stereotypes about people with autism and stuff, and I will just say this, that the sun can physically burn me, and I don't like being touched. I'm asocial, which means I don't really need a whole lot of social interaction to be happy. I prefer to have things going on around me than in front of me, if that makes any sense. But I'm going to keep this from getting too heavy and just say I'm a normal person, really, with as much deviation as other people have. And in closing, I'm going to tell a joke, an anecdote from my past, which was quite funny and harkens to a recent-ish, 2 years ago episode of My Little Pony, where Rainbow Dash was highlighting a book in class. When I was in my mid-teens, they were attempting to mainstream me. I was in special ed for a good portion of my time on the East Coast once we moved to a more southern state where special ed was an actual thing. And the teacher in my science class told me to bring myself up to pace. I should go home and highlight the book. And I came back the next day with the chapter highlighted literally. I took him literally, and there was no malice in what I did. I had no concept that he meant summarize, and even if I knew that I wasn't that good at summarizing, I would have just been scratching my head the whole night. But that's changed since. But he took one look at the book. This guy sounded like Mr. Harvey Fierstein. And he says, there's no way you could have done that in, I think the word he was used, malice. That was done completely genuinely. There's no way you would be showing me this if you had done that like this. You could keep the book. And that week I was transferred out of the class. I'm not kidding. Oh, yeah. Well, that's me trying to go out on a high note. I don't know if I revealed too much information about myself there, but this is me, and I hope you guys enjoy my stuff. I'm doing it for fun. Take care and peace out, everybody.